Rocks. Materials existed ever since the beginning of planet Earth. Some used them for food, others used them to build caves and houses. But then, society evolved up to the point where we now use them to play Pokémon. What a cycle. The rock type is among the most underwhelming types there is in both offense and defense, finding itself incapable of sponging multiple attacks nor even dishing damage to a lot of the trainers in the game. But the real question is it really that bad? Which is why in today's case, we will be answering this question by putting these boulders to the test and attempt to beat a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokémon Brick Bronze using only rock types, where any Pokémon that faints has to be boxed forever and it cannot use a single item in battle. So without further ado, I spawn in Midist Town and immediately dash to the Professor's Pokémon Lab, where basically we are already immensely screwed because there's just no rock type I could find early game and my nearest point would be Route 6. That is just before the second gym. So even though I am forced to battle Jake with my starter, I start to contemplate if I want to carry on with this challenge. Huh? What the?
Oh there! I am the genie of the island. I'm here to help you. Abracadabra! Good luck!
By the grace of the island genie, he managed to spawn me a rock type for me to actually do this playthrough, and it ends up being an Archon, which is quite a decent option to have, so I end up navigating through the game, and as usual, Linda steals the necklace and I chase after her in Gale Forest, where basically, it just shreds both Poochyena and Pancham with wing attack. And we have free access to cross the bridge to reach Route 3 and soon into Sylvan City, where I dash towards the first gym. This gym is a little scary with Archon since it's still weak to electric types, so I'm definitely going to need some luck with this battle, and miraculously it does get past the first two trainers without them launching a single electric move, and I can challenge Chad and his electric types. Against this Shinx, while it does unfortunately lower my attack with Intimidate, I had low hopes for this battle, so I try to set up double team to avoid charge beams as much as possible, and Shinx goes for tackle doing absolutely nothing. Then on the second turn, I go on the offensive with Rock Throw, but it ends up missing and Shinx's charge beam misses as well, so that was kind of nerve-wracking. And on the third turn, I land the Rock Throw, dealing solid damage, pun completely intended, as Shinx uses tackle doing nothing again. And this is basically repeated once again in the next turn, so I'm just able to take out the Shinx with Rock Throw. Then against this Pikachu, I'm not fast enough, so it manages to cripple me with a Thunder Wave, but Rocky is still strong enough to deal half of Pikachu's health with Rock Throw, and as Pikachu tries to go for Charge Beam, it misses, and our little bird is able to take out the Pikachu to earn ourselves a hard-fought Arc Badge. And I can head towards Route 4 and then inside Route 5. Since the trainers here possess fighting and fire types, both of which Archie can take care of, Jake meets me near the entrance to Brimber City and challenges me, but then a stupid Rock Throw miss causes Blitzel to hit me hard with Shockwave, and even worse, when his Nidoran comes out, my moves deal such low damage against it, and it ends up killing my Archon with Double Kick, putting an end to attempt 1. Out of all the reasons I could wipe, I never expected Jake to be the reason why, so that's just outright embarrassing. On attempt 2, I receive yet another Archon and basically repeat what I tried doing against Gym 1 once more, to which I do manage to get the Arc Badge once more, and I head towards where I met Jake at the entrance of Brimber City. Only this time, what Blitzel ends up doing is paralyzing me with Thunder Wave, and I can take it out in 2 Ancient Powers with no damage. Then when his Nidoran is out, all it uses is Poison Sting, which deals nothing to me, and I can hit it for hard damage with Pluck as it goes for Focus Energy. I get paralyzed, but it just uses Peck next turn, and Pluck gets the kill, getting revenge on it as well. Once I meet Sebastian inside, I immediately dash to Route 6 where I can finally catch a teammate for the run in Rhyhorn, which I catch and name The Thing. And then not too far after, right inside Mount Igneous, I run around for a little bit to find a roly-coly that I capture and name Dwayne. Considering how most of the Team Eclipse grunts have flying or poison types with the exception of this guy who has Numel, I managed to level up the team just enough that Dwayne evolves into a Carkol and I can challenge the Eclipse admin to a battle. Normally it would be scary with his Honedge around with Metal Claw, but thanks to Karkal's fire typing, I can just shred it with flame charges, and the same is applied to his Vullaby with Smackdown. Though I do manage to get Lunatone low on health with Karkal, I get put to sleep, and not wanting to risk a nasty Psywave, I make the switch into Rhyhorn and safely get the kill with Smackdown, defeating the admin. So once I calm down Groudon with Sebastian, I make a dash to the second gym, where this is basically free food for my rock types, so none of them broke a sweat, dealing with each trainer's fire type, and even my confidence was that high that I walked into the battle while a little underleveled against Sebastian and his fire types. I lead with Rhyhorn against Litleo, and Overheat barely does anything to me at all, so I am able to take it out with 2 Bulldozes. Then against his Growlithe, I'm surprised by the damage output with Overheat, and because I don't want to risk a reversal or Flame Wheel here, I just go for 1 Bulldoze and switch out to Dwayne here, who can finish the job with Smackdown as Growlithe activates my Steam Engine ability. Finally was his Magmar, which does take 3 Smackdowns to take out, but nevertheless I am able to secure that kill and earn myself the Brimstone badge. Route 7 does have a couple dangerous water types around here, such as this Marill or Poliwag, though I am just barely able to get past them with the team, and I deal with the Lumberjacks, including this guy with B barrels, thanks to Archon's access to acrobatics, netting clean kills left and right. So once I fix the dam, I reach Laguna Lake, and I go towards the laboratory to dig for fossils for my next encounter. The objective here is to find a root fossil in order to revive Lileep, which is a must for the team, as the grass typing helps out a lot with so many parts of the game. But let me just say this. This was the most painfully excruciating, frustrating, and stupidly horrible diving session I have ever done in my life. I dug and dug and dug and spent Robux for batteries trying to get this stupid plant out of these walls, but it's like it really went extinct, and it's like the fossil era was only just Kabutos and Cranidoses, because that's all I found from here. It took 70 Robux, that equals almost 20 batteries worth of trying to find this one Pokemon, but it just never appeared, and I was going to seriously consider giving up until this happened.
Yes! 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 Oh my god, dude! Holy crap, that took so long! Oh my god! Let's go! Let's go! Holy crap, dude!
I finally got the goddamn Lileep, and I nickname it Schnitzel so I can finally head towards Route 8, where I initiate a bunch of 2v2 battles with Jake, and then at the very bottom I can cut a whole bunch of these trees where I can find my next teammate, a Sudowoodo that I captured and named Woody.
But wood is nothing close to rocks.
Yeah, well, I ran out of names, so get out of here. Before I enter Rose Cove Beach, Dwayne also evolves into a Colossal, and once I enter the city, I make a dash towards the lighthouse, where basically the last 3 Eclipse trainers just managed to weaken my team so much at matchups I really need them for, like this stupid Sneasel somehow surviving an Incinerate and landing so many beat-ups, and this Arbok dealing damage with Crunch, where my own hits don't deal as much as I expect them to. But against Solrock, I just bring out Archon, and I'm able to knock it out with 2 Crunches, and once the battle ends, it evolves into an Archops. Though off camera, while I was trying to grind my Lileep high enough in terms of level, disaster struck, and what happened was some trainer's Palpito just knocked out not only my Rhyhorn, but also my Sudowoodo. So I had to carefully grind it somehow, and once I got it to level 37, I challenged Quitten's water types, leading with Lileep. I use Amnesia to reduce some of these Pokemon's cold power, and when I try to go for an Omni Boost with Ancient Power, Whelmer lands a critical hit with Brine, and I don't get the Omni Boost. So I use Giga Drain, to which Whelmer gets another stupid critical hit as I heal back the damage with a Giga Drain as it goes down. Then when Gorbis comes out, I click on Giga Drain and it goes for Psyking, getting a third stupid critical hit. So on the next turn, it does not get a crit with Psychic, and I can finish it off with a Giga Drain. But when Huntail comes out, it goes for Crunch, managing to get the KO on Lileep, which was really bad losing Lileep at this point in the game. Although Archops can come out and take the kill with Acrobatics after surviving a Skull, I get the Float badge, but at a very grave cost. And I was wondering if I wanted to reset because Cradily is super crucial for this challenge, and I had an idea in mind that could potentially save the run even without it, so I just carried on with my adventure. Up against Jake and Tess in Route 9, I just let Archops spam Acrobatics on everything, and I dash towards Route 10 where I run around here to find a Scyther that I capture and name Grant. The reason why I captured Scyther was because after going to the trade resort to receive an item from a friend of mine, since it's either with battle points or in the relic shop where it costs an arm and a leg, I obtained a black Augurite that allows it to evolve into the rock type Cleavor. Then as I enter Mount Kriganos, I boldly hope for a Larvitar, but in the most disappointing way possible, my next encounter is an Onix that I just contemplate on whether I want to catch or not. But because I figured I might put its base 160 defense to use, I just catch it and name it Brock. After navigating through the cave, I'm able to reach the peaks where I take the ride to Anthean City, meet up with Gerald, and I head towards the 4th gym to grind my rock types, since I basically have zero worry about anything. So this time what I end up deciding was instead of getting an Archon, I will get a Lileep, and I just have to redo basically everything from scratch, so let's do this. So after ensuring the squad is alive and healthy enough, I re-challenge Quitten and his water types, and this time I made sure Lileep holds the metal plate to make Giga Drain hit for even harder damage. Rather amazingly, it also gets the Omni boost with Ancient Power, further raising my defensive and offensive outputs and allowing me to just knock out everything on Quitten's team for a smooth float badge. And while I was climbing Mount Kriganos, my encounter this time is a Roggenrola that I capture and name Olivia, which it immediately evolves into Boulder, and then I decide to evolve it even further, so I head to the trade resort and it evolves into Gigalith. Not only that, Rhyhorn also evolves into Rhydon, and it yet again makes me head back to the trade resort, and thanks to the protector I received from Tessa's grandfather, I can evolve Rhydon into Rhyperior. And then I dash back towards Anthean City. This time I made sure that I wasn't recklessly sending in my rock types, and I can just breeze past every trainer's flying types quite comfortably to challenge Steven. I lead with Cleavor against the Staraptor to set up Stuffed Rocks with Stone Axe, but it misses, and Staraptor does get me dangerously low on health with the combination of Close Combat and Brave Bird, before I secure the kill with Stone Axe and lay the rocks down. Then against the Skarmory, I decide to switch in Gigalith, and unfortunately get hit by a critical hit Steel Wing, though on the next turn it goes for Spikes as I land a Stone Edge, before it retaliates with an Aerial Ace, allowing me to kill it with Stone Edge again. Against this Aerodactyl, I was not confident in Gigalith surviving an Earthquake here, so I end up switching out into Archops, but Steven reads me like a book, so I get hit with a Thunderfang instead that also manages to paralyze me. And because I don't want to lose Archops here, I make the switch again into Rhyperior, which is hit by an Aerial Ace and an Earthquake, before it gets the kill with Rock Blast. His second Staraptor also lowers my attack with Intimidate, but what it ends up doing is using Fly, so it was inevitable that on the second turn I knock it out with a Stone Edge. Lastly was his Braviary, and because I know a superpower here will kill my Rhyperior, I make the switch into Colossal, which gets hit by the superpower, taking it below health. This situation was super scary because even if I try to send in one of my rock types, They will get damaged by spikes, guaranteeing that they are put in a range of a KO by whatever move Braviary clicks, and I was worried Colossal will get hit by another superpower here, so that means that I have no choice but to sacrifice Colossal here. But Braviary asked to go for Zen Headbutt, allowing Colossal to survive on just 9 HP, and I can take the kill with an Ancient Power to earn the Soaring badge. I cannot believe that out of all the gyms, the Flying Gym actually gave me a really close call, and not just once, but twice. As I leave the gym, I meet with Tess in Anthean Sewers, earthquake my way through the majority of the 2v2 battles, and I go to rescue Jake, but Cypress halts my attempt with a battle, and a switch into Archops from Absol allows me to kill the Venusaur with an Acrobatics after it misses the Sleep Powder. Then I use U-turn on his Feraligatr to pivot into my Cradily, where it uses Screech, lowering my defense, and just before I get the KO, it nails me with a nasty Ice Punch that could have killed me there if it got a crit or a freeze. So Giga Drain secures the kill, and against his Blaziken I bring back Archops on a Brave Bird, and I can knock it out with a single Acrobatics. The same thing is applied to his upcoming Torterra, and when Samurott is out, I switch into Cradily as it goes for Dig. And once it appears again on the field, I can heal back the damage with Giga Drain, which it survives, but oddly enough, I manage to outspeed the Samurott next turn and knock it out. So all that's left is his Delphox, and I can just switch into Rhyperior, where after taking both a Dazzling Gleam and a Psychic comfortably, an Earthquake is enough to defeat Cypress, and as he tries bombing the area, I just stop the bomber and I can officially move forward as I return to Kraganos Peaks and down Route 11. Which leads me to Aviria City, and I immediately dash for the ruins to assist the gym leader, of which he unlocks the gym for me, and I dig around his gym in search for him, to which when I do, I challenge his ground types. It's an amazing feeling having a solid ground or water check with Cradily, allowing me to not worry too much about Ryan's bulldozes, so I begin by setting up double team against it as it uses bulldoze. And then I choose to gain passive recovery each turn with Ingrain, to which it uses Slam on me. Then I go for another double team as Quagsire's bulldoze misses and Ice Beam as well. And I manage to get to +6 evasion, so I knock out the Quagsire with Giga Drain, and when Steelix comes out, all it takes is 2 brines since it misses bulldoze, and Claydol falls to 2 Giga Drains as Excadrill arrives on the field. It desperately goes for X-Scissor, and Brine just deals underwhelming damage, and X-Scissor is used once again, but it misses, and Giga Drain this time is the better choice, allowing me to heal back the damage that Excadrill deals to me with Poison Jab, which luckily doesn't poison me. And I can knock it out with another Giga Drain, almost healing to full health. All Garchomp tries to do is using Bulldoze, which they all miss, and all it takes is a couple Giga Drains to secure myself the Crater badge. As I head towards Route 12, I decide to capture a new teammate instead of Cleavor, and once I crack the boulders, my encounter is Dwebble that I catch and name Rourke. And then I just navigate my way through Route 12 to Route 13, and then finally Florama City, and once I solve the puzzle for the 6th gym, I challenge Fisty's grass types. Considering how Archops is such a speedster alongside hitting really hard, I honestly had zero worry going into the fight since I outspeed Leavanny and kill it with Acrobatics, and literally everything else also falls to a single Acrobatics, including the rather bulky Tangrowth and Venusaur, to earn a very sweatless Harvest badge. With Tess meeting me and giving me the Rock Climb HM, I navigate through Route 14, ignoring the idea of catching Nosepass or the rare Crystal Onyx since I was satisfied with my team, and after reaching the entrance to Route 15, I battle against Team Eclipse with relative ease, including Jake, who proved to be no match for every single member of my team. It's not long before I reach Frostvale City, and with how my team needed leveling, I just spent some time off camera grinding the squad close to the level cap of 74, and I can head towards the gym where the plan in mind against Zeke's Dark types was the same one I had during the Bug type video. Lead with Crustle against Honchkrow, set up Shell Smashes where Crustle can barely survive on just 12 HP, and I can proceed to sweep every single member of Zeke's team, considering I was risking Bishop's Sucker Punch, but nevertheless it didn't go for it, and I earned myself the Contrast badge. As I head towards the next area, Tess stops me for a battle, and like always, Crustle can just set up 2 Shell Smashes and breeze past all of her team with relative ease. So I slide down this slope into Cosmos Valley and I hoverboard my way until I reach Port Deca, where Brad gives me the Surf HM and I can use it to navigate through Route 17 all the way until Crescent Town. The Eclipse Grunt exposes his hideout and I begin my infiltration, defeating the control panel admin, and I can chase after my parents before Jake tries to stop me yet again, and essentially everything that happened during the last encounter was just repeated yet again. So once I deal with Jake, I run towards Route 18, through the outpost where I have to defeat the Eclipse Grunts guarding the area, and at long last, I reach the Demon's Tomb. Cypress sets his plan in action and challenges me to a battle. Against his Greninja, I lead with Credilli and can easily take it out with a Giga Drain. Then against his Decidueye, I switch out into Colossal, which can obliterate it with a Heat Crash. And his incoming Incineroar also falls to a couple Rock Blasts, but when Empoleon is set out, I decide to set up Ingrain for some passive recovery since Steel Wing can be quite deadly, so I need healing with it and Giga Drain, and it actually pays off, so Empoleon is able to fall to Giga Drain. But then, this is where I realized the horrifying mistake I made once Sceptile is out. Because of Ingrain unable to make me switch out, I cannot hit Sceptile for any decent damage at all, and it still out-heals me with Giga Drain as well as the chip damage from Rock Slide. So it's with a heavy heart that I need to sacrifice Cradily here. Good job, buddy, you have done such a terrific job this entire game. With that sacrifice, this allows me to bring out Archeops where I can knock out the Sceptile with Acrobatics, and once Charizard is out, I click on Rock Slide and actually get the flinch, so on the next turn, I finish it off for good with Acrobatics defeating Cypress. With Jake's betrayal to Team Eclipse, he sacrifices himself once more, and the battle against Hoopa is just nothing more than easy since Rhyperior just kills it with a single Earthquake. So once I am teleported back with my family, I head back towards Crescent Town to finish off the last obstacle I have in this entire run, and that's the battle against Captain B and her ghost types. I lead with Crustle against her Gengar, which it goes for Nightmare doing nothing as I set up a Shell Smash, and since I was arrived anything thanks to Sturdy, I set another Shell Smash, and from here I can knock out the Gengar, the Decidueye, the Spiritomb, and Mismagius with Crustle. Though when Aegislash is out, I was worried about Shadow Sneak here, so what I do is swap out into Rhyperior on an Aerial Ace, and even then I eat a nasty Sacred Sword, but an Earthquake is enough for the kill. So all that's left is her Mega Sableye, so I swap out into Colossal, and I can take out the Mega Sableye with the combination of Burnout and Rock Blast to earn the Haunted Badge and complete a Pokémon Brick Bronze Hardcore Nuzlocke using only Rock types. I personally did not like finding a whole bunch of the game's trainers with them because there were so many close calls and luck-reliant moments that really made it nerve-wracking each time, but I am glad that this one was still able to be completed with careful planning. Of course, if you guys reached this far into the video, why not drop a like and subscribe to the channel for more hardcore Nuzlocks. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.